leader and head of health and wellness with Life Pro. Super excited to see you on this fabulous Friday. Today's topic is back to school strategies for stress relief because we, at the end of August, middle of August, are going back to school, whether it's through college, whether it's through our kids starting kindergarten through 12th grade. Maybe you've got grandchildren, or maybe you've got the bus is circulating around in the neighborhood, change of schedule, change of pace. And so, whenever there's change, whether we schedule for it or not, is opportunity for us to really dial in and focus on improving our best practices at home. And so today's series with Life Pro is all about sharing how you can use some of these tips and tricks in order to maximize your stress management while these back to school weeks and months are kind of changing how the family scheduling happens. Whether you are a teacher or whether you are a student or maybe a parent of a student, we know when it's back to school time, like we're ready to like rip our hair out because there's something we don't understand about a topic that's being taught to our kids. We have homework, we've got sports, and we've got to get dinner ready, and we've got to get baths, and we got to get clothes, and it's just lots of stress. So today I'm going to show you just some different strategies and some best practices that you can work with from the convenience of home, whether it's for free with using just some methodologies, or whether it's using a variety of the Life Pro products behind me to calm the waters down as you drift off to sleep so that you can maximize that recovery time. You're seeing that I have glasses on today. I actually don't wear glasses every day or on a regular basis. These are blue light blockers. And why am I wearing blue light blockers today? Because if we wear blue light blockers, I actually have prescription blue light blocker glasses because our kids are spending a lot of time, whether in college or whether in grade school, they're spending a lot of time in front of a screen. The more that you are in front of a screen, the more that the blue light enters in through the pupils and kind of changes how our brain waves and how the electrical currents flow through our body. Sometimes it can be more than what our body and our brain can handle, which changes the amount of stress hormone that flows into our body, which makes us more irritable, more anxious, more depressed, not more stimulated, sometimes more stimulated, can't wind down, makes our eyes tired, or maybe we have a lot of blurred vision, we have a hard time being able to see. So I actually got these made several years ago so that when I'm sitting at my computer long hours of the day, using, whether it's for writing, whether it's for creating content, majority of the time for writing, whether I'm researching. If I know I'm going to be sitting in front of a screen that releases blue light through the screen into the eyes in order to protect my eyes and then protect my energy, because the energy enters the body through the pupils when it comes to photon wavelength technology, it can cause a problem when we have too much of a good thing. So you're going to see me wearing glasses today. It's just kind of a reminder to all of you. If your children are using tablets and devices at school and then using tablets and devices at home, you might look into a set of blue light blocker glasses that you can get on Amazon, or you can get from your local physician's office, eye specialist, so that you're protecting their sight, but also that you're protecting the energy that goes into their brain waves for hormone production. So great idea. But anyhow, I'm noticing I've got a 12-year-old. So she went back to school just last week, and automatically, like, we're trying to get on a bedtime schedule. We're trying to get a routine after school and trying to deal with all the stress of meet the teachers and going through all these new learning experiences that they're going through. And again, she's just a seventh grader as a 12-year-old. I can't imagine what it's like to have 3 or 4 at home, grandkids or children of your own, or maybe you're a teacher who is taking care of so many of America's children. We thank you so much for what you're doing, because it takes a special person to be able to do what you do in the classroom and being able to enrich the children in our world, and giving them an interest to wanting to learn, because they have to know so much so fast. Like, it's overwhelming what our kids have to know. It's overwhelming what our college students are learning as well. I know a lot of college kids are going into their freshman year of college with already a whole year worth of credits because they worked through high school and getting all those credits, and they're starting right in the middle of their career as college students. So it's ever changing, and we are putting a tremendous amount of stress on each other. And so today, let's talk about some different methodologies that you can do from the convenience of home, without having to use any kind of medication or supplements, in order to biohack into your brain to get the greatest return of recovery, but also getting sleep and getting energized so that you can retain as much information as you can. So you're going to find a variety of products behind me. I'm not here to sell you anything today. I just want to go through just some things that I've noticed in my household. When we started back to school week last week, it was kind of like, oh my gosh, like on top of work, on top of sports, like life is just busy. So you're going to see I have the Rumble X Plus, the Rumble X 40 Plus here, and I have our Turbo over here. So I wanted to make sure and give you a couple of different options to work with. If you are somebody who travels and you're going from place to place, if you're going to college and you need something like this but of a much smaller size, we have very small portable units. The Waiver Mini is a favorite. The Micro is another one. But these don't take up much room. They can slide right underneath the bed in the dorm or in the apartment so that you can use this, whether it's for sitting and learning or whether it is just to relax at the end of your day. Maybe you have a kiddo who has a really hard time just jump starting the engine in the morning. In that case, you can actually use the platforms in order to jumpstart their brain in order to get them energized so that then when they get to school, they're alert and they're not like trying to figure out how to wake up. So I'm going to start today on the Turbo and just kind of go through and show you some strategies. Specifically, I'm using the P8. Was using the P8. I'm using the P8 program on the Turbo. And all that we're going to do, and you're going to see that I'm not barefoot today. It doesn't matter if you're barefoot or not. Barefoot is ideal in order to create that enriched neurosensory experience of energy entering in through our feet where it is intended to enter in through ground force reactions. And just standing up here, as you see, is enough to get my body like woken up in the morning. At the end of the day, when we're exhausted and we're cranky and our body hurts and we're tired, in fact, we are so tired that we just want to lay down and just go right to sleep. It makes it really hard at times. And so just standing on here and just allowing the energy to flow through your body actually can help downregulate. So here's the secret. If you're having a hard time regulating up and trying to wake up, you get on the machine and just get the ball rolling, get the energy started, push button operation, right? Push button on the platform, jump starts the engine of this vehicle that we call our body and taking us out into our daily life and doing whatever it is that we do. So just standing on it can get that going, can get you woken up, get those sleepies out of those eyes from really, really good dreams and sleep. Now, here's one. I had a comment on our Facebook VIP group. If you haven't joined that yet, make sure you look into it because there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with our VIP group and learning from each other. But we had a senior citizen who was on there, and she said that she likes to dance. Absolutely. Get up, turn on some good music, get the body flowing, and just dance it up. Doesn't matter if you're barefoot or if you have your shoes on, if you just want to bop, if you want to bop and bounce side to side, if you want to pretend like you're swinging a hula hoop. We call them hoopa loops around here just for fun. You can work forward and backward, okay? We can just shaky, shaky, shaky. We can do whatever you want. You can do a little wiggle worm. It doesn't matter. Most important thing to remember, there's really no rules when it comes to dancing on the platform. We just don't want to be jumping off the platform. The platform is not meant to jump on. So as this continues to pick energy up and intensity goes up, if you just want to pretend like you're dancing to some tunes, which we don't have in the background, but we can make that happen at a future date, just bopping around and feeling free. Because guess what? Music moves the soul. Music energizes the brain. It releases those happy hormones and gives us the ability to go, go, go. So just standing on the Turbo or a Waiver or whatever device you have has the ability to shake things up in the morning, okay? Now, if you are an adult and if you are fasting in the morning and you're doing an intermittent fast and you're not wanting to eat anything before you go to work, totally get it. But for children, we need you to be eating before you go to school because that's what feeds the brain with energy. You don't want to eat first and then get on the platform before you go to school. It will make your tummy not feel so good. It'll feel very, very rumbly. So make sure that if your kids or your college student maybe are using these in the convenience of home or dorm, you're going to want to do this first and then go eat before you wander off to your class or starting those morning homework assignments, whatever you got going on. Now, let's talk about the end of our day. At the end of our day, when we are exhausted, we've had a very long day, we're irritable, we're frustrated over homework, we've been sitting forward, hunched over a monitor all day, we've been on a bus ride to an athletic event, or maybe we've been studying at the library all day if you're in college. One of my favorite exercises to do, besides just standing on top of the platform, is just having a seat on here and dropping those legs out in front of you, like such, and just reaching for the feet, keeping that head and chest tall, and just reaching forward and backward. And we can get a really good stretch in our low back. Now, because this is a touchscreen control pad, if you happen to have a mat with you that came with your device that you can sit on to keep from turning it off just by chance, I highly recommend you do that with any of these that have a touchscreen panel on top of the platform. Make sure that you put a mat, or make sure that you're not rubbing your leg or your booty over the touchscreen so that you can really elongate and feel that energy. Now, if you keep your head up nice and tall, you're going to feel that stretch through the low part of your back. If you decide that you're wanting to stretch your neck and your shoulders, just go ahead and drop them down and reach for the center and just breathe and relax. And I want you to think about your day. A lot of people are living in a fog right now and don't think about their day. We can reach across and pulling and pulling. I'm actually feeling this through here while everything else below me is feeling some good energy. But here's something that you can ask your children, or you as an individual, as a teacher, or as a college student can be thinking about as you're sitting here, loosening up, so that when you go to bed, that you can truly sink into a really deep state of sleep. Super important to be asleep between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. in order to experience the greatest release of human growth hormones and recovery hormones based on our circadian rhythm. You're going to see me bring my feet together in the center, and I'm going to sit a little bit closer, and I'm just going to sit head high and allow this to enter through my tailbone, through my low back, through my shoulders as the energy comes up through the top. And again, I'm on the turbo, so it's not nearly as intense as being on a Rumble-X, but they both work very, very well. But anyways, I want to teach you, if you have children, or like I said, you're a teacher, or if you are a college student, or maybe you're just somebody who just wants to know some secrets to success for drifting off to sleep. You have a really hard time falling asleep. I like to call this the ultimate bedgasm. And the ultimate bedgasm is that euphoric experience that you go through when you are at the very end of your day, you're getting into bed, and you're getting your feet up off the floor for the first time, and you're like, what a day. Okay, most people are just surviving the day. They're truly just reacting one moment after the next, adjusting to the intensity of their day instead of being in control of their day. And so the ultimate bedgasm is just a reflection of the fact that you actually lived the day, survived it, and the miracle that you can actually reflect upon it because of what happened. We typically think 60,000 to 70,000 thoughts per day, and majority of people think over 40,000 negative thoughts. So I'm going to take my arms behind me, and I'm going to lift tall and open my chest up. If you don't feel comfortable with your feet together, you can put your feet out in front of you. You can relax your legs out in front, but just opening up these chest muscles because they get really tired by being bent forward. But anyways, we think a lot of negative thoughts. And so the ultimate bedgasm is just a list of questions to reflect upon your day and truly dial in and focus and see like what really happened in your day and truly celebrate it. And so the first question I want you to be thinking about is, what part of your day excited you the most today? And so if we're thinking about yesterday, what part of yesterday excited you the most? When you go back and you think about your entire day, this is the one that makes your heartbeat just a little bit faster because you got to experience it. And for me, I'm going to showcase my daughter, Zoe. She is a 7th grader. She loves to play volleyball. And yesterday was the very first time that she played for her middle school team. She has played on a club volleyball team for 3 years now. But this was the first time that she's ever been able to play with her friends and play with a team jersey representing her school, her community. And so it was really cool because even in club volleyball, they don't announce the starting lineup for their names. And so she got to be announced through the loudspeaker with everybody in the stands celebrating the fact that she's put in the effort to be there. And so yesterday, what excites me most when I think about it is the fact that I got to see my kid go out and represent her community with positive personality, and that she actually had a lot of fun doing it. And it's not a matter of whether they win or whether they lose. It's just a matter that they actually are embracing that time with their friends and their teammates, and they're bringing out the best in each other. And I got to witness that. And it just makes me really excited because isn't the idea of raising our kiddos to try and give them the life that we want them to be happy? Not, we want them to be successful, but we want them to be happy. And so yesterday, that's what excites me. An act of kindness that you got to witness somebody did for you or that you did for somebody else. That is another one of my favorite questions that I like to ask is what is an act of kindness that you did for somebody or somebody did for you that you got to witness? And the reason why I like to ask that question, oh, my program is now kicked off. So hold up here. So now I'm going to repeat this because guess what? We did 10 minutes, but you can repeat. It's okay if you do. So I'm going to go back into turbo mode here. I'm going to go P5 just because, no rhyme or reason, just P5. And you're going to see my feet are bouncing. And if you have restless leg syndrome or you've got plantar fasciitis, your feet bother you, this is a great, great exercise to do at the very end of your day just to wind down a little bit. So an act of kindness that you did for somebody, somebody did for you, or that you witnessed. And why is that important? Because there's a lot of negative energy out in the world and there's a lot of darkness. And when we go looking for acts of kindness, or we do things kind for other people, or people do kind things for us, it brings out the best in each other. It brings out the best in our mindset and what we attract energy towards. And so just going out of your way to do an act of kindness is really pretty awesome. And so I'm going to say an act of kindness yesterday was that, gosh, there were so many now that I'm thinking about it. I ended up working on a professional athlete late last night until after 12 o'clock in the morning. Normally wouldn't do that, but I know that that individual needed it really bad. And so I was just being kind in order to fit into the schedule to give that individual the opportunity to go out and really knock the opportunity out of the water to win and to be the best of their ability. I got paid for it, yes, but I actually made time for that. So that's one act of kindness. Another act of kindness that I can remember yesterday was that my daughter went with a bunch of her friends to eat Subway for lunch, and there were like 20, 30 kids, and just being patient. She sent me a video to let me know that she was safe and that she was having fun. And you could just see how kind the room was with all these kids interacting with each other. And it was just really cool to see that. Just really, really cool. Another act of kindness yesterday, some of my coworkers just went over and beyond. They didn't have to, but they just went over and beyond just to make my day a little easier just by doing more than what they were supposed to do. So just, it doesn't take much to be kind. You just, maybe a smile or a high five or a handshake or just an extra hug goes a long way. Now, what you're seeing here is I'm just moving my legs, which is working blood flow into the extremities. It's pushing all the gunk out of my legs. And here's why this is important, my friends. When we sleep at night, we curl inward. We curl inward, which means we get tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. So if we're already inward during the daytime when we're doing this kind of work, if we can't open up the opposite way, we curl inward even further until we can't turn inward anymore. And that's when our body really starts to pull out of that restful state. And that's when we have a hard time trying to get back to sleep or staying asleep. So we want to make sure that we're loosening up the body, taking tension off the body in as many different areas as we can, so that when we actually do go to lay down and go to sleep, that our body is calm, relaxed, so that it can restore through the night hours. Okay. And so if you have issues with leg cramping, okay, just sitting and working on moving your legs back and forth, sitting with your legs on the platform, standing on top of the platform, just to get things to loosey goosey up and flush out all the toxins that build up with tension throughout the day, is key in being able to get restless, getting the restlessness out of our body so that we can be restful at night. So the other one that I want to show you here, because we in the schools and with our kids are always so much here, we carry a lot of tension through here. Naturally, when we have stress, whether it's the negative thoughts that we're telling ourselves throughout the day, or whether it's something within our day that we didn't have control over, or we're just wanting to like start fresh. Throughout the day, we create a tremendous amount of tension up here in our neck, shoulders, and through our arms, and especially in these hands and our forearms, because we're doing things with our hands all day, every day. I mean, that's how our body connects the energy out and about. So what I'm going to show you on this next one is how to get loose in the upper body using your vibration platform for the convenience of just that. Now, let me grab an extra mat here because I'm going to do this on my hands and my knees. And I personally don't like the feeling of the rubber on these platforms. Don't get me wrong, they do a great job insulating it, but I personally like to have fingertips like somewhat not, I don't want to feel the imprints of the rubber on my hands on here or on any of our platforms. So all you need is just a really thin mat, and you can get that. You can actually make your own mat, or you can just get a towel. A towel works really well too. When you are doing upper body stuff, make sure that you err to the side of lower level of intensity, because if you go too high with intensity, it can be really uncomfortable after a while. We don't want you to get a headache, but just a little gentle oscillation through the neck and shoulders goes a long way. And remember, the closer your hands are to the center, the less the energy you're receiving. The further your arms are from the center, the more energy travels through your extremities. And I can feel this. I'm going to make fun of myself just for fun because we have to laugh at ourselves. Another list of that questions from the Ultimate Vagasm is, what made you laugh today? Why does that matter? Because if we don't laugh, then we are not relaxing our neck and our jaw muscle, and we're not releasing the happy hormones that laughter creates. So we have to go looking for opportunities to laugh every single day. And so I'm going to give you a really funny. When I'm in this position on the turbo, I can actually feel my extra flubber here wheeling back and forth. It's like it's talking to me. That's good. We actually want that. So don't be ashamed if you should feel a lot of extra fluff bouncing around. It doesn't mean that you are unhealthy. It's actually helping to break that apart so you can metabolize it. Very, very important in order to be able to utilize it. So let me rearrange this here so I can get you a little bit more up close in person. Now, again, the turbo and the waiver are very gentle. Speed doesn't adjust and adapt as fast on these machines as does on the RumbleX. The RumbleX is very aggressive for a lot of people when it comes to upper body. Like, you don't want to feel it in your neck and shoulders or between your ears. And so if you are using a RumbleX, I'll teach you how to start in a manual motor option and which motors are going to matter to you. And it's different for each and every person. But we're going to go palms flat, like you're waving, okay? The other one is going to go palms to the side, okay? So palms to the side, because that gets a different part of our upper body. And just relaxing there. And then the last one that's really hard to get to is palms underneath. And this is a hard position to achieve, but when you're able to achieve it, it feels really, really good on the forearms and on the shoulders. If you have numbness, tingling in your palms and your forearms, carpal tunnel, tennis elbow, this position right here helps to alleviate that. A lot of those injuries, conditions happen because of being in the same position all the time and not getting elongation of those muscles and those tissues. And so we have to change how to access that. So if we can work on our hands moving in a variety of different angles and we can receive the vibration, it helps to break that up. Now, the other one that I like is sitting back on the heels, arms are on the platform, and we're just receiving this energy. If you want to put your head on the platform in the center, so long as it's not fast paced and it doesn't bother you, can actually receive this energy this way as well. It feels really good. And this is an ultra quiet machine, so you can't hear it. So that is a little routine you can do on the turbo. And then now we're going to bring in the big dog. This is the Rumble X. This is actually my favorite unit that we sell. I use this every day with clients. We do a lot of things from pain management standpoint. I specialize in pain management, non-medicinal. So we use this every day with every client that walks in. I actually use it as an assessment tool. Now, if you have the Rumble X Plus, you're going to, if you're wanting to go to a preset program because you don't want to think, the P2 is my favorite for about everything except upper body. Upper body P2 is too much. So you're going to want to choose either P1 or P3, or you're going to choose the button that looks like a big zigzag. You're going to push that button. When you push it one time, you're going to give the wavelengths through the center motor, and that just means that you're going to feel pulsation under your palms, but the machine does not move, okay? If you push the wavy button again, you're going to see the arrows going this way, okay? Side to side. That means the machine flows side to side, okay? It feels different on each person. So I'm not going to tell you which motor you want to choose because I want you to experience what feels best to you. If you push the zigzag lines again, you're going to get two motors that pop up. One is going to be arrows up and down, which means the machine moves more like a teeter-totter effect. We call that oscillation, but you're also getting pulsation at the same time. You push it one more time, and then you're going to get what's called a spiral effect. Now, this, my friends, is the most aggressive of any Rumble X combination you can have. So err to the side of caution, because if you get headaches and you get a lot of neck tension naturally, we don't want to create more tension by choosing a program that's really aggressive. And so when we're choosing the motor that goes side to side and teeter-tottering side to side, you're getting a spiral effect, which is a lot on these muscles that come in from all different angles. If you decide to do that, make sure that you choose it at a very low speed. So your speed is going to be at the very bottom of the spectrum in the green or in the orange, but stay away from the red. The red is going to be too much. Then the last time you push the zigzag button before all three lights come up, you're going to get tickling underneath your palms, and you're going to get side to side. And then the last one is going to get all three. You're not going to want all three motors on for this. It's too much energy. So I'm going to go back, and I'm going to err to the side of what some of you might choose, which is that 4D. And I mentioned that this is the spiral motion. So you're getting oscillating and you're getting side to side at the same time, and it's a lot. So I'm going to show you how to go through that if you decide you want that kind of energy. And this is on a level 1. And like I said, if you're already lit up and you're trying to calm down, one of the worst things you can do is rev your engine up even more. And so this right here is level 1 of level 60 with spiral 3-dimensional motors rolling. And it's a lot. I can feel a lot of flapping around. It's not going to give me a headache, but just make sure that if you're easily stimulated, we don't want to hyperstimulate. So I'm going to err to the side of off, and I'm going to go with pulsation and lateral mode. Level 1. This is really gentle because we're just shaking side to side with some vibration. Okay. And here's the trick. Your body gets used to it, so it quits adapting after a while. So you just have to make sure that you're constantly changing things up. So if you do one night, don't do it the next night. You want to switch it up. And then if you decide that you want to try a different combination, like this one is all three, it is just way too much energy for upper body. This actually makes me feel worse. So I'm going to highly recommend that you stay away from using all three motors at the same time for the upper body. Probably one of my favorites is going to be the teeter-tottering with the pulsation. And I like that one because it allows me just to let go, and I'm not going side to side across, but I'm just teeter-tottering, which creates a little bit more shaking mechanism, but it allows my body to actually detox it. So I actually like this one a lot. And one of the exercises I like to do while I'm in this position is I like to just pick up my body and get into more of like a downward dog position, or just stretching. Like, you can receive this energy in a variety of different positions. You can get into a kneeling position with your arms underneath of your head, and you're still able to enjoy the energy into your neck. But these are just some ideas that you can use for your upper body. Another one that I really like to use is sitting on top of the machine, putting my hands underneath of me, and the energy goes straight to my neck and shoulders here. So I can feel all of this actually working through into my arms, into my lats, upper traps. I know I'm talking language some of you might not understand. Where we carry our bat wings and our spare tires and our extra flubber through here, we all have it. Doesn't matter how lean you are, you all have it. I like to feel that energy travel through there. If you don't want to feel that energy in your back, in your upper body, what you can do is you can sit down on the floor in front of you and just position your hands behind you. You can even lean back on the machine. This will get more into your torso. It still gets your arms, your elbows, your forearms. But if you have the ability to put your hands behind you and sit on the floor, you can actually feel this more. If you should have carpal tunnel, tennis elbow, issues with your shoulders, you can actually feel more energy. You can actually see the vibration in my skin spasming in a good kind of way, and that it's breaking some stuff up. So you can switch it up back and forth. So you can go from a seated position up top, and then we can go leaning one hand, so you can give one hand a break. There's really not too many rules when it comes to finding what works for you, but just sitting on this just really calms things down. And I'm in manual mode, so I'm just on level 1 with the oscillating and the pulsation. That's what I'm on with the Rumble X. You have to push the manual mode button in order to get that. Okay, moving on. Now, if you're college, you don't have room for one of these, you're a teacher, you've got a prep period, or you're in between classes, it's nice to have a massage gun handy, okay? And the massage guns that I have here are pretty big in size overall. We have a much smaller model called the Dyna Mini, and it is pocket size. You can carry it around in your handbook, your pocketbook, your purse, your backpack, your travel bag. It can fit into a file cabinet drawer, fit into some of your consoles of your vehicles, depending on what you drive. But having a massage gun is quite nice for a variety of different applications. And the Sonic LX is absolutely one of my favorite massage guns we've ever released. And I like using this springy looking tip. So let me go through here really quick. We have we have the Sonic LX, okay? And this is the springy tip. So it is made of a soft, rubbery, that's actually feels really good, but it's not hard plastic. What you have to be really careful with, we do have some that are made of hard plastic. Energy vibration doesn't travel through hard plastic from an absorption. It doesn't transduct and transfer very well. So the energy that you get from the massage gun through hard plastic is much more intense into the connective tissue than is something like rubber that actually absorbs the energy and dissipates it just a little bit, especially if it's at sensitive areas. But the Sonic LX comes with a variety of different attachment points, and you're going to see that some of these tips are metal. And the reason why we have those is because individuals like myself like to use essential oils. And you can't use an essential oil with our plastic or rubber tips because it absorbs too much, and it kind of can break down the plastics. So we have metal tips for the purpose of being able to use them for that purpose of driving a carrier like a topical analgesic or an essential oil. Do not put these in the microwave to warm these up for a heat transduction. You can put them in the freezer and or in a refrigerator or in a cooler and keep them cold, and then you can apply that. But don't try and heat them up using a microwave. You can use a heating pad to heat them up, but do make sure that you apply caution when you're trying to figure out how much heat that is in the attachment point. So those are all the different heads that come with. And like I said, this one right here is my favorite to use for an assortment of all different areas. It just goes right on the end. And then we have multiple speeds on this one, okay? But what I like to do is I'll start up here at the base of my neck and just work my way down. And I like this one because it has the big handle, so I can get into through some really, really good areas. But just from looking down at a screen all day, these muscles back here behind our neck, off to our shoulders, can get really stressed and irritated. So I can actually reach behind here and get into all these areas, all these little secret hiding spots. So there's little knots that burn and tangle and don't feel very good. Like we have the ability to get in there. And as you can see, I'm moving just 1 inch per second, not very fast, just trying to receive the energy. And if you're putting if you're applying mechanical vibration too fast, it can overstimulate. So not good if you're trying to wind down at the end of the day, right? Now, these arms, they do a lot of work with devices, computers, tablets, sports, handwriting, right? Turning the pages, operating and driving your car, power tools, whatever it is that you're operating. Take care of those forearms because it matters. Now I'm moving at a much faster pace here just to kind of break things up and get some fluid mobilizing in through there. But if we're going really slow, again, 1 inch per second is the rule of thumb if you're trying to calm things down at the end of the day. Feels so good. I'll tell you what feels really good too, the palm of the hand. Everybody likes the palm of their hand touch. That's like happens to be one of our, they call them erogenous zones or happy spots. When you're in pain, one of the great places that you can go in order to soften pain and override the brain is on the bottom of the feet or in the palms of the hands. The hands just feel really good because majority of our nerve cells, the nociceptors, mechanoreceptors that provide information to our brain about where we're at in space and energy, happen to fall on the palms of our hands and the soles and bottom of our feet, but the ones in the palm of the hands are actually more powerful and hypersensitive than the ones on the bottom of our feet. So I'm just tickling the palm a little bit, but let me show you something really cool. One thing I like to do when we use so many of those little muscles, this is a plastic tip, so do err to the side of caution with those. But I like to work all of these muscles in our forearms are really small and there's a lot of them. So if you're trying to get into some deep spaces, nice and slow, you can actually work through the forearm muscles a little bit easier. If you got tennis elbow, golfer's elbow, just working a little bit at a time. But remember, this is a plastic tip, it's not a rubber tip, so you're transferring all the energy. And so it can be a little sensitive. Right here on the inside of the thumb, really popular place for carrying anxiety. So if you have anxiety and you're trying to reduce anxiety, that is an acupressure point. So if you just make contact right there, you feel at the deepest part of that little spot right there in between the thumb and the index finger, that is an acupressure point. If you flow through with your massage gun using that pointed tip on the inside or on the outside and reduce tension there, it actually reduces anxiety overall. So it is a pressure point. So you might have to err to the side of less intense is better. So those are just some little things you can do for using massage gun. The other one that I want to share with you, this is the big ball attachment. And of course, it is a rubber ball as well. We tend to, when we are rounded forward, doing this all the time, or we're doing this with our mouse, or we're holding our phones and doing this with our thumbs, our pec minor region, this area right here, tends to shift forward and it starts to create this web of sticky until it kind of fuses itself and makes it really hard to open up. And then when that happens, our shoulders actually round forward and our head goes forward. So in order to soften this up so we can actually open up, we can use our big ball for that. And it's a sensitive spot to work in. So do be sure that you're using a speed and an attachment that feels therapeutic to you. It's different for everybody. But our pec major, pec minor inserts about right here, but pec major actually comes all the way across, down through here, underneath the rib cage, and right up through the sternum on both sides. So make sure that you're getting, especially if you're an athlete, because what do we do in sports? We open up forcefully without realizing that we're already really tight there, and that's how we end up with rotator cuff injuries and shoulder labral tears. So make sure that you're working. Just kidding. Made you laugh. Make sure that you're getting that pec major muscle. It really tickles. Another little secret. If you have allergies and you're starting to get this congestion and you're starting to cough a lot, use this, have somebody do this to the back side of you on your rib cage. I can actually reach, getting it into the rib cage, because it actually might make you cough and it might break through some of that gunk so that you can actually feel breathe, like more breath, and feel more open and like less constrained. So pec major, pec minor, really good for opening up that chest line, those arm lines, because when we are here all the time, we actually don't feel the pain here, my friends. We actually feel the pain more back here, and we feel it also in our low back. So just doing massage gun through here will actually help to release and relax everything else behind. And everybody, I don't care what you do, our body is usually face forward. We're moving things in front of us. So make sure that you're keeping this side of your body a little more on the loose side, because that's the first thing that starts to shut down when we're working so hard. Now, that is the Sonic LX. We also have the Dynaflex. I won't get into all the tips and tricks of those specific models because I'm not here to sell you anything today. I'm just trying to give you some strategies. Now, we did release recently the PEMF mat, okay? And this one is, I showed you this one on the series a few months, about a month ago, actually. And I have the big dog behind me in that big black bag. Now, the PEMF mat is a fantastic solution for using at the end of your day, but do make sure that you use it on the lowest hertz possible, because we don't want to rev energy up, sending PMF is pulsed electromagnetic fields. We don't want to send energy to the brain necessarily right before we go to sleep, because we're trying to calm everything down. But the PMF mat actually helps to heal and repair vulnerable tissues from breaking down by pushing energy and charges and cells to those areas in which they can repair while we sleep. But we don't want to stimulate the brain at the same time. So when you are laying on your PMF mat, make sure that your head is lying above the pulsed electromagnetic field, or that you're using a lower level of intensity, because we don't want to create excitement when we're trying to go to sleep, okay? So I wanted to share that with you. Now, a couple little amberisms, some amber lectures here for you really quick before we continue on. 3 hours before bedtime, if we're thinking about best practices, 3 hours before bedtime is your last meal. When we are in rest, recovery, relaxation mode, we are all about rest, recovery, and digestion. We don't want to eat a full meal right before we go to sleep at night, especially sugar, because the body cannot actually, it can't break it down fast enough in order for you to be able to actually drift off. So we want to make sure 3 hours before bedtime, final meal, final snack, whatever that might be if possible. If you are one of those like I am who has to have beverages like water right before you go to sleep, try and limit that to an hour before bedtime. an hour before bedtime so that you're not waking yourself up in the middle of the night to go potty and you're losing out on that most wonderful opportunity for your body to be repairing itself with the human growth hormone testosterone that it naturally releases when we sleep at night. So if we're having to wake up subconsciously to go potty in the middle of the night because we don't want to wet the bed because we drank too many fluids right before we went to sleep because we have to take our medicine right before we go to sleep, you get what I'm saying? We don't want to interrupt that natural process that actually makes a difference as to how we age. 2 hours before bedtime, making sure that you are unplugging from all devices, any kind of blue light. So I get to take the glasses off and start to thinking about relaxation. If you're not reading a book from a screen, then take the glasses off and just read with your eyes if you don't have issues with your eyes. If you are reading from an electronic device, you're reading a book on your tablet, it's actually going to wire you more unless you're wearing blue light blockers. So make sure and get yourself some blue light blockers if you enjoy reading at night because it calms your nerves down. It is a great activity to do. The other thing that works really well is mindful meditation and journaling. Like I said, I do the ultimate bedgasm. With my daughter, we do it verbally because we don't want to take a lot of extra time to write down so that she can actually go to sleep. So we talk it out loud, a list of questions, which we talked about earlier in this episode. But 2 hours before bedtime, no TV, no computer, no email. Did you know that your skin is the greatest sensory organ that we have neurologically to how our brain functions? So if you put your phone next to your bed and it's face up, or if it's in a sense that you're the light can flash when the notification goes off, this hair on your skin actually detects the energy from the light given off and stimulates your brain to awaken you up to seeing what the notification is. So whether it's a vibration, whether it is light, whether it is sound, all of those things, all those features on your phone actually are interrupting you from being able to sleep at night. So make sure that you're putting your phone face down, notifications turned off, in sleepy mode, airplane mode, what have you, with your alarm turned on, so that you don't have anybody interrupt you when you're trying to sleep. Because even if your light comes on, and even if it's in dark mode, if the skin and the hair on your skin happens to detect it, or any blue light for that matter. So if it's an alarm clock that is LED featured, if it is the lights on your flat screen or on your speakers, sometimes it can be lights coming in through your bedroom window. Make sure that you are allowing a way to block that light because your skin actually detects that and awakens you. So when it's time to take off the blue light blockers and you have headaches or you have a really hard time falling asleep, just remember one of my favorite tools is the Oculax. And we have the Oculax in white with gray and blue with black. They're both exactly the same product. We sell and use a lot of these in our recovery facility here. But these are one of my favorite devices to use when you are restless, you can't fall asleep, you've got a headache, sinuses are just kicking your tail, and you're trying to drift off. The Oculax heated eye massager actually has Bluetooth, and it has relaxing, soothing white noise and sounds. It does have a lifetime warranty, so do make sure that you are utilizing that. They come with eye covers, so if you don't want to, if you have makeup on and you're trying to use this in the middle of the day just to chillax, usually at bedtime you've already done your facial cleansing routine. If you do that, comes with this little handy bag that stores it. So we charges with a USB-C type port. Looks like a virtual reality, right? So most important thing is you're going to want to make sure that you put this on before you turn it on. So I'm going to take my blue light blockers off, and we're going to put the face cover on so that I did not wash my makeup off before I said hello to all of you today. These go on over the top so that you can share it amongst each other at home. And you can buy extra disposable eye covers on Amazon. Gonna push the start button and it automatically clicks on. It has heat, it has massage, and I can also hear the white noise of water drips and birds or whatever it is as it's flowing through. And oh, wow. It's like time for a middle afternoon siesta. Ah, it's wonderful. Now, what makes this really cool is you have the ability to turn some of these features off. So if you don't like hearing the birds, you don't like hearing the water drops, you don't like feeling the vibrations or the pulsation, you actually can turn all of that off here with this button. And there's several different features that allow you to kind of customize this. And then, like I said, the charge port is down here. This works really, really nice for airplane rides. Lot of great opportunities for great gifts with Christmas coming up, birthdays. I actually gave one of these to my sister a couple of weeks ago, so I had to order more new ones because I gave mine away. But these are my favorite. This is one of my absolute favorite products that LifePro has ever come out with. It has this super suede, soft fabric on the backside. When it comes to cleaning these, just use like a stain wipe to wipe it off. You cannot submerge this in water, so don't try that, not good. But it's just an easy button operation. So turn it back off and it's off. And then that's how that goes. So again, back to school strategies for stress relief. Remember, 3, 2, 1, 3 hours before bedtime, last meal or snacks, heavy meal, I should say. 2 hours before bedtime, disengage from any kind of electronics featuring blue light. If you don't wear blue light blockers, which is why I've got my glasses on right now, I actually don't have a vision problem. I just use it because on the days that I'm around a computer a lot, I don't want tired eyes at the end of the day. I don't want to be depressed at the end of the day. And what we let in through LED lighting makes a big difference as to how our brain actually functions on an electrical level, because the brain is very electrical. So 2 hours before bedtime, disengaging from any kind of electronics. And then 1 hour before bedtime, less fluid, starting to sit into your bed or your comfort zone, starting to think meditational, reading a book, writing down goals for the next day, recollecting with the ultimate bedgasm as to how you survived your day and the miracle that you're actually laying there and experiencing that. What are you proud of? What excites you? Like, what awesome things happen? Where did you fail? Right? I ask that question every day. Why is that important? Because it is important to remember that it is okay for us to fail each and every day. We have to learn from failing. And if we're not learning, we're not growing. If we're not growing, then we're going backwards. So it is okay if you fail. We just want to make sure that we're failing in a capacity that we're not posing harm on others if we have control over that. But nonetheless, I don't want to give you a speech on failing. Just remember, failing is a learning process. It allows us to refine ourselves. It doesn't define us. It allows us to be able to move forward. So where did you fail today? What did you learn from it? And what are we going to do different next time? Those are just some of these questions that I put my daughter through. I put a lot of clients through. I do a lot of mental coaching, and we ask those questions often in my office. Because so many people are afraid to fail, and we have to fail in order to move forward. So those are some bedtime strategies. Make sure when it comes to back to school strategies, making sure that you set out the night before, like, what is my lunch? What am I wearing? Like, make it less stressful on you when you wake up the morning of by planning the night before. That's really important when it comes to time management and not being stressed out before you actually get out of your bed, because you don't handle stress as much when you're half awake, half asleep. So if you already have a plan when your feet hit the ground running as to what you're going to wear, what you're going to eat, what you're going to take with you, what to do, like, what am I going to go out and conquer? Like, that's what makes the day so much easier to win. Sleep hygiene, really important to make sure wherever it is that you're sleeping, that your space is clutter free, because we have a lot of anxiety and a lot of depression in the world right now. Clutter and lots of stuff sitting around actually increases stress hormones. Proven in science. So if you have a very cluttered space where you sleep, figure out a way to organize it, figure out a way to purge it, and create a very nice sanctuary in which you can rest, recover, and restore. Okay. We don't want lots of stuff. We don't want the food, beverages, TV, video games. Like, we don't want that in our sleep space. We want that to be very pure, serene, calm, clean, just like stress free. Like, ah. Also, the psychology of colors. If you have a purple bedroom, studies show that you actually get the least amount of sleep because purple is a stimulating color. It is an arousing color. So make sure if you're struggling with sleeping and your room is like really loud in color, bright red, bright pink, purple, you might think about toning your colors down a bit. But sleep is really important as to how our brain actually functions going back to school and retaining information. And remember, when it comes to retaining information, our body always comes up with these brilliant ideas and remembers what we're learning when we're staying active. So you can use the vibration platforms in order to stay active, or you can use one of our new adjustable dumbbell sets. You can use our Horizon Balance Trainer to doing some different things at home. You can work on core, just having a seat on top, and just staying moving, working little things at a time makes a big difference as to how our brain retains information and clarity of thinking. So make sure that you're getting physical movement, whether it's walking, whether it's a workout, whether it's yoga, meditation. Make sure that you're staying moving throughout the day because that actually makes a difference as to how everything works together. Exercise isn't necessarily about weight loss. Remember that. Exercise is about eliminating and exiting crap out of our system through our garbage disposal process. Our lymphatic system works better when the muscles are pumping because our lymphatic system does not have a mechanical pumping option like our heart. So make sure that if you are feeling blah and you don't feel good and you're really kind of not maintaining information, memory's a little not there, it's less sharp, reaction timing is a little delayed, you feel like a sloth, get up and get moving in some capacity because those muscles work like little pumps to move junk into our excretion system that exits the body through exercise. Isn't that cool how all those root words work together? And remember, anxiety, the Latin root for anxiety is to divide and separate. And that's not what we want. We want together and whole, together as one. That's why we're here working with all of you today. So if you have anxiety, if you have depression, remember, we're here to serve you. We're here to be with you. We're here to help out as a team, as an organization, as a family, as connection and friends, because it's love and connection that brings happy to our hearts. Whether we get to see each other in the room and feel each other energies in the room or not, we get to share each other just right here. Come back, watch it over and over and over again if you have to. We've got more and more episodes coming on every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You'll start to see me dripping in here every once in a while on Tuesdays and Thursdays just to throw a little extra more into our value bucket of the VIP group. But I'm super thankful for all of you today. Again, back to school just creates a lot of stress, creates a lot of chaos at times, trying to get back on schedule, trying to get kiddos to sleep on time, trying to get them up the next morning. I tell you what, it is just now occurring to me, like I said, my daughter's 12. I think I have like 5 summers left with her. And it's kind of coming full circle to me right now. Like, wow, time is so fast. And sometimes we just have to pause and reflect and celebrate and see like how we're using our time and appreciating the opportunity and the value of time. So don't ever take time for granted. Again, I'm thanking you right now for sharing your time with me. I'm beyond humbled and thankful that we get to help and share the joy and being the best version of ourselves possible by working together. So back to school stress relief strategies. That is a wrap on that. I hope you enjoyed learning from us today. If you have any questions, or better yet, if you have strategies that work for you, share them because we're always learning from each other and we don't always know everything or have all the answers. Even though we're still experts, we are still learning from each other. So share what kind of back to school stress relief strategies you might have as a teacher. If you have kids in your classroom during the day that are really struggling, what are some strategies that you're using in your classroom in order to stimulate kids and keeping them happy? Or if you have kids that are hyperstimulated, how to ground them, bring them back down. How are you as a teacher winding down at the end of a school day so that you can turn that switch off and turn the you switch back on? What are you doing with your kiddos when they're home and they're doing their homework and we're getting dinner? Like, what are some strategies that you have? Because I'm always interested in hearing what you all are doing. We get to learn from each other. But until next time, thank you all so much for listening in, and I look forward to visiting with you again next week. Have a great day. Bye.